Hi!
Hello.
I'm so excited. It's live and it's on time for the second week in a row with no technical glitches. I couldn't be more excited.
Yay.
We can just wrap up there. End the show. No, just kidding. And for anybody that out there is looking to do these lives on Facebook, I know Facebook announced that they were going to do their own thing, but they haven't really come out with it yet. I'm using a service called StreamYard. I've tried Zoom. I tried Be Live, all like not successful. So if you or anybody you know is looking to go live and do it on Facebook with other people, you can go live on your own accounts. StreamYard is the best program I've found so far. So I've totally got myself off topic here. There's a lot of fun, exciting stuff going on in the event industry. Thanks for joining us, everyone. A couple quick announcements, and then I'll introduce our guest for today, Rachel Lee. So some upcoming announcements. We've got this fantastic new workshop that we're hosting next week. Basically, it's Canva design for event professionals. We're going to walk you through how to create social media posts, Facebook, Instagram. They even have Instagram story templates that I'm going to show you how you can use them. We're going to create some branded material. I use Canva to create my own business postcards. It's so easy to print through them, and I'm going to show you all that good stuff. And then we're also going to look through how to create event content. So if you have to create like a banner for an event, for Eventbrite, I'm going to show you how you can easily do that with Canva. So in the comments, I've added the link. Sign up. It's going to be Thursday, May 14th. Like, what month is it? May 14th at 10 a.m. This is a live event, and you definitely don't want to miss it. So go sign up for a Canva workshop. All right. We are joined by Rachel Lee here today, who wears many hats in the industry. I'm going to let her introduce herself and the various roles that she's holding right now while we all juggle, more so than we usually do. Thanks for joining me today, Rachel.
Yeah, of course. And I just want to say I love Canva. Like, I was introduced to it and I'm obsessed with it.
It makes life so much easier. I mean, I love graphic design stuff, and there's so much you can do, and you can make it as simple or extravagant as you want. It's really a great tool. And when we did our kind of goal setting, like 2020 2.0 a few weeks ago, a lot of the people in that workshop were like, we did like a Canva template, and people were like, oh, I don't know how you can add in elements or how you can find photos. And there's a lot of great stuff you can do with it. And so, yeah, it just kind of prompted us to go like, let's teach our fellow colleagues like how to use this great tool for their business or for their events.
Yeah, it's a really, really great tool. We do like a lot of our menus and signs on there. So yeah. I really love it.
Well, and speaking to which, maybe you can let people that are tuning in, let them know like what do you do in the event industry? I know you have like two different hats that you wear, and I'm sure those are like changing as the days go on, just as things are rolling right now. But maybe just give everyone a little background on your experience in the event industry, and then also the roles that you have right now.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Sacramento, and that's where.
Me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah, so I'm originally from Sacramento, and that's where I had my first opportunity to do my first wedding, and I just fell in love with it. And from there, I was like, okay, I know I want to be in some like the wedding and event industry. Moved to San Diego, went to San Diego State, got my bachelor's degree in hospitality tourism management with an emphasis in meetings and events. And during college, I had a lot of amazing opportunities to work with a lot of wedding planners. For example, Christine Ong with Lavish Weddings.
Yeah.
She was actually going from her catering role into making her company, and I had to kind of run and start it with her, and kind of learn from her in the very beginning, and do some weddings on my own. And then I also during that time interned for Urban Style Wedding Network. They were a group that helped put together put together networking events for the San Diego event industry. And then they eventually closed down. And then I also interned for Wynn, and that's where I kind of started, kind of developing more of my career, because she really helped teach me and mold me. And right before I graduated, Wynn officially hired me as an elite event wedding planner for her.
Awesome.
And I've been with her for, 6 years now. And throughout all those years, I got to assist her and plan a lot of amazing weddings. I also got to assist like Thomas Bowie and Victoria Schroeder. And so I got to, meet a lot of wedding planners and assist them and just really, really grow. And then eventually I wanted to learn more about the catering side. So I eventually joined the Fairmont Grand Del Mar as a catering coordinator, learned a lot about catering there, and then eventually just took all my experience over to Giuseppe's now. And so now at Giuseppe's, I'm a catering sales manager, and I do weddings and corporate and social events. And then with Wynn Austin Events specifically, I just do weddings and social events.
Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. That is a lot to juggle. That is a lot of different events. Everything's great. But I think, and this is a piece of advice that I give, like there's a lot of San Diego State students that have reached out to me over the years to interview and, talk about my career trajectory and how I've gotten to the place of owning my own business and what kind of led to that path or what would I also recommend. And one thing that I think that you have kind of taken upon yourself to do that I really recommend to fellow students or to event industry folks is kind of try on different roles. You definitely want to place yourselves, even when you're a planner, in the role of a catering manager. I've been a catering manager before, a venue manager. You want to be on all different sides so you understand the advantages and the disadvantages, the challenges and opportunities too. It can be an asset for your clients. And then negotiation, you can be an asset to the venue, just understanding, what is feasible. And I think all around it just gives you a better understanding of what playing field everyone's coming from, and really ensuring that you tee up communication, knowing that at a hotel they have BEO meetings that, you need to tee up a ton of things for. So, it's completely an asset for that. So that's great. How are you guys from Giuseppe's or even Wynn Austin Events? How are you guys connecting with clients and vendors right now with everything a little unusual?
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of Zoom meetings for sure, and a lot of virtual happy hours with vendors and game nights too. It's really fun. And definitely social media. Of course, right now, social media is the biggest thing. Instagram, Facebook, MailChimp, LinkedIn even. And then, connecting with my past clients to see if they have any needs, if there's anything I can help with. Yelp has been helpful too, especially for the catering side. They're allowing you right now to have almost like a live feed, kind of like how Instagram stories is or Facebook stories is. And you can put like a current feed right now on your Yelp and post, do like posts on there and basically say like, oh, this is our Mother's Day brunch that we're doing right now during the outbreak. And, we're still doing takeout and delivery and things like that. So you can update little things and it will show that you can do curbside delivery at this time and update your, kind of your outbreak hours right now, since they're not your normal regular operating hours usually.
That's a great feature. I did not know about that. So everybody should notice when you have a business account or, some sort of personal account and you're active right now. Check out the Yelp live feed. I think you might as well just put it out there and all the touches you can. It can't hurt. And it typically takes people, numerous times to see it to register like, oh yeah, they've got that special, or, oh, they are doing curbside, or, what have you.
Yeah. And then another way that we, through the catering, has been connecting with a lot of our clients is through Frontline Foods. It's a
Oh yeah.
nonprofit organization, and we've partnered up with them. And basically, any donations, any contributions that are going to them, you can actually say, please earmark to Giuseppe Fine Catering and Candor, our restaurant, and they'll specifically put aside that money and then give it to us so that we can make meals for frontline heroes.
Oh wow.
And so, we've been doing that a lot, and we've been getting a lot of great donations and a lot of support. So we really thank everybody for that. And been able to, help out like Scripps Green and UCSD Jacobs and Sharp Chula Vista. And so we've been, delivering a lot of foods to the frontline heroes too.
That's amazing. Okay, well, I'll link to that too after the broadcast, just so if anybody watching is wanting to make a donation to Frontline Foods, just make sure you earmark it to Giuseppe so they can continue the great work you guys are doing for all of our frontline employees that are out there. That's great. Those are two awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Learning, just as much as we're all online, I think there's just so much still out there. So these are two great things to just be aware of that we can help during this time for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And I think, okay, so this is, I'm sure, something that's been on your mind and on planners' minds. I know we chatted a little bit about it beforehand, and even I've had conversations with colleagues about it of, what are some of the adaptations from the catering aspect are you guys considering right now? I know Gavin Newsom gave his announcement yesterday about rolling things out and the different phases on it. And I know we can just presume things are, from a food and beverage standpoint, things are going to be very different, even for the short term or foreseeable future. No one has a crystal ball to kind of see what this looks like. But I would love to hear maybe some of your guys' thoughts or ideas of what you guys are thinking about, moving forward with any catering aspects.
Yeah. So, of course, we don't know exactly what the regulations are going to be once gatherings are going to be out.
Yeah.
But we can only really expect for, some of the dinner service styles to be kind of affected, and some might be considered more safe. Some might not even be offered anymore. I would say, definitely one of the most popular ones will be stations. I think stations will allow us to still be able to kind of keep that 6-foot distance away from from the clients and the guests that are attending the gatherings. And of course, we'd be wearing masks and gloves. All of our servers will be wearing masks and gloves, and all of our chefs will be wearing masks and gloves. And of course, coming from food handling safety, like we already wear gloves, and obviously right now we're wearing masks too while we're doing any of our home deliveries and things like that and preparing the food. But it's just going to be kind of something that you'll see at gatherings and weddings, people wearing masks and gloves, the servers and the chefs.
And to that point, a little shout out I wanted to give, and I'm sure a lot of people already know this, but our friends at BBJ Linen are creating, a very beautiful option with their fabrics and stuff, and you can even get them custom. So I'll link to that in our notes too. But yeah, BBJ Linen, I know there's tons of people out there that are making masks. But I think from a bride, when you've thought about every little thing and all of a sudden you have people wearing like blue gloves and like, surgical masks, and you're just like, oh my God, like I would just die if those were like your photos. You spend all this time and all this money, and here's a way. And I think that's where BBJ was able to come up like with a really like elegant solution because they have gorgeous fabrics. So I think that'll like subside the need for like health concerns and, all the reasons why we need to wear masks, but also just make it like, so it's pretty like everything else they're going to be spending time, energy, and money, like focusing on for their special day, like that wouldn't take away from it too. So
Exactly. I mean, even though we're trying to be safe, we also want to, incorporate that design aspect. So we
I want
want
it to be pretty, I
we want
mean,
things to be nice, and I even hear things about, even the bride having to wear a mask on the day of. So, that's if you can customize your mask and make them really nice, then it takes away that other aspect of it not being appealing or ugly looking.
totally, totally. So sorry to jump in and break up your train of thought. I've been passing on their information to other colleagues, and I just, as it pertains to the stuff that you're doing and your staff too, I'm sure that you guys are thinking of something creative, but something that's available out there too for others.
Exactly. But going back, so stations definitely will be popular, I think. And then the next option would be, maybe some sort of, it's kind of like stations, but like a buffet style that basically guests would not be serving themselves. We would be
like chef attendant or something.
Yeah, so like the table would be set up like a buffet, but then, it would be, server attended. The servers would then plate the food and they would pass it down the line. At the end, you get your plate. And then, we'd try to minimize as many servers as we can on that buffet line. And then on top of that, I was just recently talking to Valerie from Enticing Tables, who reached out to me and talked about doing these kind of bank teller style shields that can be placed or like clamped on top of your banquet tables to kind of, in a sense, cover and guard the food so that guests can still see the food visually, but they, if there was a cough or
like a cover like on top kind of thing,
like cover, and then the chafing dishes would be on this side of the table. And like would be on this side of the table. They see the food, they'd be like, I want that. That looks good. Things like that. And we'll be serving it from the other side, but they wouldn't really have any, they wouldn't be able to like.
Oh, like cafeteria style, right? But
kind of, yeah. So that could be another option. I think plated could be another option. We just have to be very, careful about with plated. Of course, our servers would be much closer to guests that way, but we'd be wearing, again, masks and gloves. And, the amount of time that they're with the guests is not very long. It's very quick when they drop the plate off on the tables and pick them back up to bus. So that's another option. But I think family style is definitely going to go away. Because, realistically, family style in a sanitary world, like we're passing around these plates and these bowls and these platters around with the guests and things like that. They're not going to want to touch maybe a bowl and platter that another guest had touched. And so I think, family style is going to go away. Plated might be a little here and there, and then stations and buffet, if you do it correctly with, maybe these plexiglass shields and things like that, and still staying far away will still work out.
Yeah. Well, and I also was just thinking about this, from a corporate standpoint, we're working on some virtual events, and then we're talking through with clients of, hybrid events where it would be virtual and then some in place, for like a myriad of reasons. Maybe it's only safe to get 50 people together, or the regulations statewide are only 50 people max. So then what does it look like from like a space standpoint for even like a conference per se, or a seated dinner that's accompanying this education event? Allocating for more space is definitely going to be a necessity. When you're thinking about classroom seating, you might, have the people now spaced out, so much further.
Exactly.
And I was thinking it from a dining aspect of like, if you have a 6-foot round, maybe you only have 5 people at each round. You don't max it out at like 10 or 8. Like you're not having everybody elbow to elbow as we all typically do to kind of maximize space. Like you're really just going to have to like pay for more space because of all these regulations too. So family style wouldn't even, you would be maybe too far to even let it pass. So
Exactly. So yeah, I think that's another point that I was going to make, that guest seating. It's like, how is that going to be? Is everyone have to be forced to be 6 feet apart from each other, or how many feet apart from each other will they be? And so obviously that's going to affect family service style. You can't really pass easily from one guest to another guest if you are 5 feet away from each other. I think another thing that we've been talking about is like to-go meals, and maybe even doing like individually packaged to-go meals. I have a wedding that's for next month, and they're doing really small ceremony, like 6-7 people max. And they're just going to have us drop off like to-go individual meals. And so that way they can do the ceremony, they'll pick up the food, they'll either eat it there picnic style, but kind of be spread apart, or they can take it with them, take it home for those guests that don't want to stay and eat it picnic style with everybody. And so, maybe we'll see more of that. Maybe we'll see more like to-go meals, and people not really having a reception, but more of a ceremony. And then just kind of doing something more informal for the reception style. And then, we've also talked about things like, if the guest count is 25 people or 50 people gatherings or 100 people gatherings, does that include your vendors? So
yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I mean, we're talking about total guest count, but you've got the service staff that needs to execute it from all different angles. Yeah, that would probably need to be a consideration.
Exactly. So then it's like, realistically, if it's 25 people, are you only really going to have 15? Or 18 or 20, so that you can have that service staff there. But then you also have to include your photographer, your videographer, if you have one, wedding planners, and, photo booth, DJ, just anybody that's going to be your vendors that are going to be there. Is that included in the guest count too? So that might be a little affected as well. And then, maybe we have to even check temperatures of guests when they, come to an event. And maybe we even have to check the temperatures of vendors when they, come to an event. So, things like that, masks, gloves, checking temperature, considering your different dinner service styles, and, the guest count, and maybe even possibly having, hand sanitizer stands everywhere. And, these plexiglass shields. I mean, all of this is what we're kind of considering as we move forward with, possible gatherings.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it. I mean, it's totally necessary. And then also just like, I think it's a great solution so people can have their special days, or they can have, there's things, life is going on, and it's not like people aren't having social things they want to have, or businesses that really rely on these events, and that they're necessary, or nonprofits that really need to have these interactions, or graduations. We're talking from the virtual side of things, talking to some schools about their graduation, and it's just, not to be like Debbie Downer, but it's just like deflating sometimes. I think we're all coming up with really great creative solutions, and we will totally get through this. So there's like the optimism in me, but at the same time, it's just like, oh my God, this is like, so different and seems so foreign at the same time from anything in my 17 years of events that I've ever experienced. So
it's great.
It's very short-lived. Okay, so on to something a little bit more positive. What do you guys have going on this weekend for Mother's Day, and some other promotion stuff that you guys are working on at Giuseppe's? Because I know you guys have some fun things going on.
Yeah, so for Mother's Day, we did a Mother's Day brunch, which we're so happy to hear that we've actually sold out. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, of course, granted, we are working with a skeleton staff, so it's sold out to a point where what our skeleton staff can handle. But the fact that we are sold out, we're just so grateful and thankful for everybody that's, supported us and trust us. And so that's really great. So the Mother's Day brunch was really great, and that sold out for home delivery. And then if you wanted still on the day of Mother's Day, Candor, our restaurant, will still be open. So if you wanted to order food, through Candor, through, the dinner menu, then you can order and pick up from there. And then we do home delivery through Candor, but it's only just within the La Jolla area, but you can curbside pick up and take out through Candor if you still need, Mother's Day dinner. And then on top of that, we just, right now we've been doing our home delivery menu. It's our family meals menu that we do. And that's just all over San Diego. So citywide, it's a flat $25 fee. And we're just delivering, family meals for a lot of families that, they're tired of cooking. I mean, in this quarantine, and you've been just cooking up a storm. And so you want a break. And I completely understand. I want breaks too. So, this is a great option to be able to, have dinner or lunch and maybe have even leftovers, but, take a break from the cooking side, because then we'll provide all the food for you. Really, all you have to do is reheat it. So that's really great. And then, we're just, constantly rolling out new menus for that, and, changing up our menus for Candor, and still doing takeout, curbside pickup and home delivery through Candor. And then, working with Frontline Foods to, provide food for the frontline heroes. And then probably going to, roll out another menu for Father's Day when it comes out. Yeah.
We have a question that came in asking if you guys have had thought about any ideas or ways to profit from popular small elopements that have been happening during this time.
Yeah, I mean, the small elopement ones, that is a little harder, because a lot of times they just want to do a ceremony and they're not really considering any food right now. They're just doing the ceremony part of it. And so again, that one is like possibly doing the to-go food and, offering, food for to-go. But a lot of times the small elopements are usually like, right now, it's just like the bride and the groom and the officiant that I've been seeing. A lot of our clients have just been postponing their weddings and pushing it back. And if they are going to do a ceremony, it's a really, really small ceremony with just like the two of them and their officiant. So they don't really have any food needs right now at this moment.
Well, hopefully that changes too as we hear more of the state's regulations develop. And I think this will be in line with what's established for restaurants. And as it relates to catering too, so have a better idea. Because I think people are still wanting to get married right now. And I think it was a godsend that they ended up announcing that you can now finally get your marriage license, was like at the end of last week. So that's great, because as Casey Fields from the Point mentioned last week, like, people want to get married. They have they're going to be deployed. I mean, we're living in San Diego. It's a military town. That's definitely in consideration. Or they want to start a family, or, there's 1,000 different reasons why people might want to kind of move forward with their wedding and not have to postpone it to the fall or even 2021. So yeah, I mean, I think that's exciting. So hopefully that will be a consideration. Oh, we have another question. Has corporate planning slowed down as much as weddings for you guys?
Definitely, because corporate was our first to hit us.
Totally. Yeah.
It was just the first to start hearing no, cancel left and right, or postpone, because corporate events, they're large gatherings, usually really large conferences and gatherings. So corporate definitely has been hit really heavily. I feel like I get more inquiries for a wedding than I do for corporate right now.
Well, none of my corporate clients want to plan anything right now.
Yeah, they don't even want to consider.
Everybody's just like, We're not talking about any events. Like, I don't even know if we're going to do any holiday parties. We were working on a number of proposals for holiday parties for December for large, up until like 700-person events. And no one knows if that's going to be feasible to do a 700-person holiday party, which is really sad because I was very excited to do this one for this one client. And we don't know if it's going to be feasible. So no one is planning anything for us either.
Yeah, they're just, I think usually their gatherings are a lot larger, and because of just, the uncertainty, they're just not planning it. And and honestly, even though I do get inquiries for weddings, I do admit like they're slower at responding. Like I think there is still that uncertainty. So they're still kind of nervous about moving forward with things. A lot of them are nervous about moving forward with things. And so, they're just kind of taking their time with, their inquiries with vendors. And so, even the wedding planning inquiries were it's slow and steady. It's not like we're getting a lot right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, it seems like you guys have a lot of great things going on. One of the things I was just, from a personal, and to get to know you a little bit better, was just wondering, like, what do you love about events, and what are you so excited to get back to?
Well, I mean, I just love helping people. I really, really, really love helping people. And I really love just being able to like create their vision or dream and kind of taking all of it and seeing all your hard work just come to fruition, and seeing at the end and just how happy and thrilled they are, and just knowing that the memories that you're making for them are just going to stay with them for the rest of their lives. And I also kind of miss the thrill and the stress on the day of it. It's thrilling. I mean, I feel like any event planner, like if you're not loving the thrill and the stress of it, like what are you doing? Like
you're in the wrong business for sure.
Yeah. Like we kind of love that thrill of, handling things on the day of. And I mean, it's crazy and things change and you don't know what to expect, but that's kind of the reason why we're in this industry. And so I do miss that a lot. And I want to be able to do events again and just be able to be in that thrill and be able to like create these things and make their dreams into realities again.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally an adrenaline rush for sure. And I love event day because like if you've done everything right, you're just like everything's just lining up. Like if you plan and you've thought about everything. Yeah, it's just like, all right, here we go, and it's exciting.
And then there's always things you want to expect, but you with experience and you'll know how to handle things.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things I like to do on these programs is also just take an opportunity to shout out to any local businesses that maybe you're partnering with, or personally, professionally, whatever, that you think are doing great things, or just kind of, would love to give some attention to that might otherwise not be known. I mean, I think you've given us some great stuff to like look at, but yeah, if there's any other vendors or colleagues out there, we'd love to link to them.
Oh, well, there's so many. This is hard because I had to think about this too, because I knew you were going to ask me this. So I was like, what am I going to say? Because I mean, being in the industry for so long, I have so many friends in the industry.
Totally.
So please don't get hurt if I don't say anything.
I know.
I decided to pick, vendors that I knew were, donating or doing things with nonprofits or doing things for our frontline heroes. And that's where I really wanted to kind of, shout out those vendors. Mm-hmm. And so one of them is Sweet Cheeks Baking.
Oh, yeah.
They've partnered up with Homestart in Vista Hill. And so they've, obviously offered some great like sweet packages and things that you can pick up, like cookie dough and cupcakes and things like that you can pick up. And obviously you can purchase one and donate it towards Homestart in Vista Hill and help out those, help out those families and individuals that they, their nonprofits help out. Another one is Nicole Manalo, and she works at the Carmel Mountain Ranch Estate. They just recently partnered up with some chefs and are creating meals to go. And if you purchase one, they will donate one to someone in need. So then I thought that was really great as well.
Yeah.
And then I would say Heritage Desserts and Lavish Blooms just partnered up for an amazing giveaway. You could nominate a healthcare worker, and then they would give away, this great little package of goodies and things like that to that healthcare worker. And then I was also going to say, BBJ, Bright Event Rentals, More Rentals, the Veiled Beauty, they're all making masks here in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
And donating those or selling them, and obviously all the profits are going back to bring their employees back and bringing their employees back into the workforce, which we all understand as small businesses, we're all hit heavily, and there are a lot of employees that are furloughed right now. So
totally. And those are all great ones. Some that were on my radar and some that definitely were not. So thank you. I'm happy to link to them and excited about the work that they're doing. So very good stuff. One, I did mention the BBJ, and I love those. Love those guys. Love their linen. And also another shout out I wanted to give to is Two Hands Wellness and Events. Joni was on the program a couple weeks ago, and she's got these great Mother's Day packages that have massage oil and chocolates and all good stuff. Something we kind of thought up when she was joining us. So I'm excited that she put something together. I'll link to her too if you need a last minute gift for a mother. I think she's offering some delivery to, not 100% sure about that, but if you need a last minute gift, you should definitely look to her because it's all packaged and ready to go. And then also Julep, the venue, is doing some great elopement stuff. They announced yesterday that they've got some elopement packages. So our friends at Snake Oil and their venue Julep have got some great things going on. So go check them out. All right. Well, happy Mother's
for date night too. We might
yes.
be for one of the date nights as well.
I know. I'm excited. Well, thank you, Rachel, for joining me today. It was so great to have you. Happy Mother's Day to all our fellow working mamas out there. And hopefully it's a weekend of pampering and at-home brunches, Zoom brunches, I'm sure, for some of us. But yeah, thanks again for your time, and good luck for everything you're doing at Giuseppe's in Wynn, Austin.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
All right. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.